this research review, we did a mini meta-analysis, if you will, kind of took a look at a couple different studies as it relates to motivators and barriers to healthy habits. Part of the reason for doing this is some of the things we have in the works with Clinically Pressed and trying to figure out how we can best serve people that maybe are facing some of these barriers and how we can look to address those, but also create those motivators to just really help people get past that, to just make positive changes that they want to see in their life. So part of the reading was for that, and then also served as a nice little research review. So in all, we looked at 5 different studies. The samples kind of ranged from all over the place. We included men and women ages 18 all the way up to 70, from different cultures, different ethnic groups. Looked at different people from different fields, including the medical, people that had just started at the gym and people that were old to the gym, and also looked at a few different barriers just based on those medical things. So we came up with kind of a list of motivators and barriers. There is about 10 on each side. I'm not going to list all of these out. We'll put those in the show description if you wanted to go and take a look at them. But we just wanted to talk about a few of them in terms of what they could do and potentially kind of be almost, if you will, low-hanging fruit that we could address. So starting with the motivators, a lot of the ones that you would expect to see, improving your everyday health and energy. With that comes body image and the strength and endurance and the mobility. And so looking for easy things there. I know for me personally, adding a exercise tab to my daily to-do along with some mobility stuff. And for those, they change a little bit. Exercise on workout days might be 45 minutes to an hour in the gym getting after it. But on the off days, if you will, so for me, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if I can convince myself to do it over the weekend, that might be doing 75 kettlebell swings and some push-ups at home. And I call that my exercise for the day, because I'm getting something done, but that was the goal for the day, not another hour-long workout of heavy lifting or whatever it may be. And so some different things you can kind of look at there. One that really stood out to us, and I think would be really important to take a look at for anybody working in this space or really trying to get in and try and figure out how to get themselves going again, is reinforcement and assistance and motivational interviewing / problem solving communications, and really having that core group that's going to help you continue to go through. I know for me in the past with having workout partners, you didn't want to let them down by not showing up. That was helpful. For me also, having someone who was writing me a program made me really want to complete it, because somebody else was spending the time to do that. So if I missed one, I almost felt just like guilty for wasting their time. So that was something that works for me as well. And so creating that for yourself or within your role as a health or fitness professional, in creating that community and that support is so important. And for some of our episodes that we've done, that is such a key when you look at like a Unity Fitness or Journey Active. When they had a physical location, they've now shifted over a little bit, but some of these places are just so important to create that group or that family, if you will, the fit fam in some cases, that really can make a huge difference to keep somebody going, because it comes a place that they like to be. And in some people's way of looking at it, they're kind of third place, home, work, and then the gym. That's kind of their third place to belong. Some of the barriers, some of these, again, not overly new or groundbreaking, but good to identify. Access to unhealthy food is a barrier because it's so easy to get a hold of, and figuring out ways and the cost that goes along with that. The time to cook and prepare healthy food. There's a lot of things out there that can help go along with that. The motivation to be able to get up and start working out. figuring out how you can incorporate that in. Time in and of itself, that's been a huge one. No leisure time. Personally, have an 18-month-old, if I am able to go work out, it's at 4:30 in the morning to be home by 5:30 to shower and get ready for the day when she's ready to get up at 6:30. So there's things to take into consideration there. The cost of equipment and facility can be something that's a huge barrier, and that's something we're hoping to address with Clinically Pressed, is what can we do to help people work out at home or have what they need to start those basic programs if they can. Environmental factors, lack of experience, working out can be huge there, and a huge barrier when you look at just finding anything on the internet, and if it's worth anything at all, or if it's just something that's potentially going to get you injured. That can be a huge barrier. Fears of safety, and then an unaffordable indulgence. All things that are huge barriers that, again, we're looking to hopefully help address with some basics. But something that, if you're listening, those are barriers to getting people to you. Is there ways you can work around that to help get them there, and then hopefully make it a sustainable activity for them? Just kind of going into some other ideas and concepts that we took away from these papers, and kind of just summarize. I'm looking back at some 2010 health recs. They even back then were recommending group sessions with cognitive behavioral strategies, acknowledging the importance of the thought process of it and why it's so important to have those behavioral aspects to it, because that can really get people to engage and get a part of it. Same thing with the motivational interviewing. If there's resistance or change, trying to get that person to their own conclusion about why they don't necessarily want to do anything with health or fitness. One really interesting concept that came out of this, and it maybe shouldn't be as interesting, but I thought it was the barriers being either internal, so kind of their personal take on time and motivation, versus external, the physical impediments, their ability to actually get to a fitness facility or whatever it may be. And I think identifying which one it is going to be super important, because they're can be addressed in very, very different ways. Are the person that is looking to do this, we got to get into an autonomous or a self-authored motive versus necessarily a controlled, which is an internal and external pressure. So if we can help get people to have this be what they want to do, and there is not this necessary pressure from other people, which can serve as a good starting point and really get there, as we talked about. But if we can kind of work people to this autonomous, self-authored motivation, that can be helpful in sustaining exercise and health behavior. So it may take one aspect to help get them there, but that should be our ultimate goal. And really, through the promotion of benefits related to it, I think that is what we have to necessarily do. While, yes, we're identifying and trying to remove barriers, the more we can associate the positive side of it and get people trending down that way, the better off we're going to be. Different things play a different role in this. We didn't dive as deep into this, so some of these results in terms of the barriers or motivators are based on BMI, marital status, physical activity level, alcohol use, symptoms, stress. So those things play a role. So really looking at the entirety of the person is going to be so important, and understanding where they are and what they're coming from. Somebody who is not as physically active, maybe a little overweight, that is married with kids, maybe trying to have the focus to be getting back in shape so they can chase their kids around and do that. It's not as much about the aesthetic, although that's still important to them, very well could be, versus someone who is single and still looking for their person, who the aesthetic might be seeming a little more important to them. So I think those are important to take into consideration and understand the whole person and what their true motivators are and what their perceived barriers are based on some of those things. So if you are in the show notes to this, all the studies are listed if you wanted to go check those out that we read. Like I said, we are using this kind of a twofold informational thing for us, but we thought it was worth sharing to everybody else some of the motivators and behaviors, or motivators and barriers to healthy habits, and how we're hoping to go and address them and find those things to help get people to start initially and then ultimately get them to that autonomous level where they're able to go out and really get after things themselves and help to continue their own health and safety and really get to where they want to be, and hopefully leading to a better, healthier life and ultimately a society from that. So go ahead and check those out. We're looking forward to more information coming about everything I've just referenced coming from CP. Just waiting on some stuff from different departments in the government, which can take some time as everybody's a little preoccupied right now, but we look forward to getting those out as well. So hope everybody's week is going well. We look forward to getting more of these out and announcing some big changes to come.